Well, in my mind, one of the most historically significant places you're going to find in Detroit is Motown. This is Hitsville, USA behind me. It's the place where the Funk Brothers backed up the Temptations, the Supremes, the Four Tops, Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell, you name it. It all happened right there in that white and blue building. And you, if you haven't been here, you need to check it out. The Motown sound was created on this site from 1959 to 1972, and the company started with an $800 loan from the savings of Bertha and Berry Gordy Sr. to Berry Gordy Jr., who started the company. Got some cool looking buildings right through here. I like those. Now we're on. Have GM World Headquarters, which is the Renaissance Center. Absolutely gorgeous building. You've got the Detroit River right through here. On the other side, there's Canada. And if I have time, I'll show you the Riverwalk and maybe even the side of the Renaissance Center. But right now, I am hoping to take us to Belle Isle because it is a beautiful day. This is inside the Dawson Great Lakes Museum on Belle Isle in Detroit. Very elegant place. This particular room was actually part of a ship that has been put here. And the ship itself looked like this. I'm a little out of breath because they close in just a few minutes and I actually ran from the car, and you don't see a big guy like me run very often. They've got the history of the Great Lakes region, waterways, what it was used for originally, Great Lakes vacation cruises, shipping, logging, all kinds of cool stuff. History of the old Boblo, which was a really cool place. Just a lot of fun stuff through here. And up in here, looks like they've closed that section down already. But there's the front of the boat, and you can look out onto the water. Oh no, it's still open. Let's go up. So inside here was a front of a boat, or I guess they would call it the bridge, basically, like on a starship. And they've moved it to the museum. But they've got all the equipment, so you could see what they did for navigation and so on and so forth. And then out there you can see the Detroit River, which is just a really cool river. Love the color of it. And you can see the Great Lakes Museum right there. The people here. And it's just very, very cool. Down here you got a map of Lake Superior, which is the lake that the Edmund Fitzgerald sank in, the famous ship. And over here you've got a model of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Well, just across from the Dawson Great Lakes Museum, we see the Anna Scripps Whitcomb Conservatory. It's across a little pond, and I don't know if you can see it down here, but you've got kayakers or canoers or something enjoying the day here in Detroit. And just perfect weather to be out and about. I'm going to head over around to the parking lot for the conservatory so I can show it to you a little bit better. Well, here I am outside of the Anna Scripps Whitcomb Conservatory on Belle Isle, another one of my favorite places in the city of Detroit. They've got just absolutely beautiful plants in there, plants that you wouldn't normally see. So if you get the chance, head on out here and check it out. just over this way is the oldest aquarium in the state as well. So Belle Isle has a lot to offer. Detroit has a lot to offer, and I'm going to keep showing it to you right here in this video. One thing I noticed today, the gardens are out in full force, just stunning over here. This is still outside, of course. I've been here when they had a big wedding out over by the smaller fountain over there. There's a bigger fountain too, but people are just enjoying the nature here in Detroit. Just all kinds of cool things to do here. Sit, have yourself a Faygo or a Vernors and relax a little bit. Read about the plants, learn about them, or just appreciate the beauty of them without ever reading a single sign. It doesn't matter. It's all up to you as to how you want to do it. Tufa Rock. It's the Cactus House. Some cool stuff. And out there is the koi pond. I'll show you out there in a moment. So here we are outside again. And this is the lily pond slash koi pond. Really peaceful place when there's, you know, like on an early Sunday morning or an early Saturday morning when there's not a lot of speakers pumping the tunes. But even when there are a lot of speakers jamming the tunes, there's just something cool about it. I don't know, kind of zen or something. Maybe this is where you would go to study Kolinar.
Look at that big fat one. Don't put your finger out. Scare my baby. I'm scaring all the other ones
Well, speaking of fish, this is the aquarium. Let's hope it's still open and head on in. Well, it looks like the aquarium closed at 4, so the same time as the Dawson Great Lakes Museum. But another day I'll take you, and I can show you some stills from previous visits that I've had out here. So as I drive around Belle Isle, I notice today there are a lot of cars. A lot of people are out here today, and I'm just gonna kind of show you around a little bit. So you can see that there are people having picnics and cars parked everywhere. There's been live music outdoors, recorded music. It looks like people are really enjoying themselves here, and they've got the bins to keep downtown clean. The family picnic and a gathering there, so that's pretty neat. Got somebody here with a U of M sticker on their car. Over there we've got the shoreline. I'm going to try to get over and find a spot on the shoreline so that I can find out how the fish are doing today. Even from the island you can see GM World headquarters up in the distance there. I'm still on the island in the middle of the Detroit River, but the GM World headquarters on the horizon there looms over a lot of stuff. And it's hard to see on the phone, but it's if you follow your eyes into the middle of where the road disappears. Well, now it's behind some trees, but you get the idea. There we go. I think we can see it now. The trees are out of the way. Again, the wind is picking up, being that we're shoreside to the river. This is a pretty calm area of the beach. I like it because it's not as crowded as some of the other spots of the beach. that way. There's a lot of parking over there, so there's a lot of people over there. And I'm not a fan of people. I like buildings, I like music, I like art. I could do without people most of the time. I like cats. But this is the shoreline here at Belle Isle. You got, bump the tripod a little bit. You got some people parked over here. And then people just kind of hanging out, relaxing a little bit. I'll show you a little bit more here. So off in the distance, right about here, you can see the GM World Headquarters, the taller buildings of the city, if you will. And it's just so cool to be able to have a spot where you can appreciate the buildings, relax on the grass. There's birds here. I like seagulls. A lot of people don't like seagulls, but I like seagulls. They're pretty cool. The city of Detroit skyline is seen from Belle Isle on a somewhat windy day, probably windier than the microphone probably makes it more windy than it actually is, but you get the idea. Well, here we are at the famous fountain on Belle Isle. People love to come and see it. It's a summertime staple, and with a gorgeous sky like today, it's even prettier than it usually is. I have to love this absolutely wonderful fountain.